In today's video, we are going to go over my 5 most important survival skills to have during SHTF. These may differ from yours. It may not be your top 5, but that's okay because everybody's different. Everybody's situation is different. But these are the 5 skills that I believe that everyone should have in order to be prepared for an SHTF event. Number 5, self-defense. Let's face it, the world is not always going to be about sunshine and rainbows. During a long-term grid-down SHTF event, there are going to be desperate people willing to do desperate things in order to survive. That's why it is very important and crucial that everyone knows how to defend not only themselves, their family, but their property, their homes, your bug out location. You may be defending a water source or defending a general area, but everyone needs to know how to defend themselves. And that may include learning how to be proficient in firearms. Everyone needs to know how to use a firearm. A firearm, a gun, is just a gun. It's just a tool. Unless you know how to use that gun or that firearm, that's all it's ever going to be, is a tool. So you need to become efficient and know how to use a firearm in order to be able to defend yourself in these types of events. Now, some people may say, well, I don't like guns. Well, whatever you feel like that you need, or whatever weaponry you need to defend yourself, your home, your property, your family, you need to be proficient in the use of that weapon. So I encourage everyone to take up some kind of weapons training, some kind of firearm training, and learn how to be proficient in the use of firearms. Not only do you need to be proficient in the use of firearms, you need to have a detailed, well-executed, well-thought-out plan in order to be able to defend not only yourself and family, but your home, your bug-out location, or a general area. Whatever you're trying to defend, you need to have a well-orchestrated plan. When people come up with game plans, when you have a plan and you know and you are able to execute that plan, things usually turn out for the best. It's just like a sports team. They come up with a game plan on how to win the game, and they practice every day of the week until game time, and during game time they execute that plan. And depending on how well they execute that plan will determine whether they're victorious or not. No different in this situation. You need to have a plan on how to defend yourself, your family, and your property. During this type of event, people are going to be desperate, and they're going to be willing to do anything to survive. And they may be a group of people who have a plan, who are well organized, who may be prior military, who may be willing to come in, work together, and execute a plan in order to take your stuff. So everyone, please come up with a plan on how to defend yourself, how to defend your property, and practice that plan and be able to execute that plan to protection. Your life and your family's life and the life of your group may desperately depend on you being able to execute this. Number 4, the ability to hunt and fish. 95% of the population of the United States has less than 7 days worth of food in their homes. In a long-term grid-down SHTF event, say such as an EMP, the food in the stores will run out in just a matter of a couple of days. FEMA only has enough food to feed the masses for a couple of weeks. What are you going to do if you are unprepared and you're now facing starvation, your family's facing starvation? Do you have the necessary skills that it's going to take to be able to hunt and fish for food? I suggest if you're not a hunter or a fisherman that you learn the skills. Some people absolutely refuse to learn how to hunt, but learn how to fish. if you live near a lake, a stream, a river, and you've got a fishing rod and you got the skill set to be able to catch fish, you can feed yourself and your family. There's plenty of wildlife around most places, especially if you live in a rural area. Deer, turkey, squirrels, rabbits, quail, doves. There's all kinds of wildlife out there. I suggest everyone learn the skill of hunting and fishing. Your life and the life of your family will depend on you being able to feed them in a long-term grid down event. Number 3, the ability to grow your own food. Like I said earlier, 95% of the population of the United States only has 7 days worth of food in their homes, and FEMA will not be able to feed the masses for long. So the ability to grow your own food will be a vital skill that you will need to survive a long-term grid down SHTF event. Now, I learned at an early age how to garden. I learned at an early age how to raise my own food, and at an early age how to put up that food. And I encourage everyone to learn how to garden. You can learn just basic, simple gardening skills and learn how to grow a few plants around your home, or you can have a large garden that's able to feed you and your family for a long period of time and may have the ability to feed others. So I encourage everyone, learn the skill of how to raise your own food and how to raise your own garden. This is going to be vital for your survival in a long-term grid down SHTF event. Number 2 on the list, the ability to preserve your food and water. Let's say that you have mastered hunting and fishing, you have mastered the art of gardening, and you're able to grow your own food, but do you have the knowledge and the skills that it takes to be able to preserve your own food and to purify and store your own water? These skills are going to be crucial for a long-term grid down event. When there's no electricity, there's no way to put your food in a refrigerator or freezer. You're going to have to learn how to preserve it. When there's no clean water coming out of the tap, there's no bottled water to be bought at the store, you're going to have to learn how to purify and store your own drinking water. So learn the skills of canning and salt curing and being able to purify your water for drinking. This is going to be crucial because disease will run rapid with people eating tainted meat and water that is not purified. A lot of germs that could be, and a lot of diseases that you can get from unpurified water. So I encourage everyone, learn the skill of canning, salt curing, and have the ability to purify your drinking water. Very important in a long-term grid down SHTF. And finally, the number 1 skill set that everyone needs to know is first aid. The ability to administer first aid to treat minor trauma wounds, the ability to diagnose and treat illnesses and diseases will be very beneficial during an SHTF event. Right now, you have information at your fingertips. You can take your smartphone, your tablet, your laptop, and computer and look up anything you want to know about first aid, treating trauma wounds, diagnosing and treatment of illnesses and diseases. You also have it easy when it comes to being able to go to a doctor, a hospital, or urgent care to be treated for an emergency. During a long-term grid down SHTF scenario, you may not have the internet. You may not have the ability to go to a doctor or hospital. So learning these skills now will be very beneficial to you and your family, and may be the difference between life and death for you and your family and others. So I encourage everyone to learn all you can now about first aid and the ability to treat trauma wounds, the ability to diagnose and treat illnesses and diseases. Learn it now. There are also books that you can purchase to have on hand during such an event, such as the Survival Medicine Handbook. This book is a great reference, and you'll have it on hand so you can go back and look and see how to treat certain traumas and certain illnesses. I encourage everyone to do your own research. I encourage everyone to be fully prepared when it comes to this subject. And this is my top 5. It may not be your top 5, but these are 5 very important skills that everyone should know to be able to survive a long-term grid down SHTF scenario. Thanks for watching. Have a great day. We'll catch you next time.